as we sort of mentioned, there are just a couple of examples from a couple of the categories. As I say, this is a very, this is just an introduction to it. As John knows, it's quite an in-depth form. But I'll touch on that at the end with John about time commitment, etc. Once we've done this. But as part of the responsible pillar, shall we use, it's things like, do you employ locally? Do you support and promote local businesses? Do you procure as local as possible, price permitting? Are you do you support a local charity or a national charity? Again, with John, it was very much, you are the hub of a village, which is amazing. Do you have, you touched on, John, do you have regular meetings with staff and update them from all things across the business, including sustainability? And is that sustainability now going to be on your agenda regularly, to get that feedback, to get that communication? And let's be honest, even if it's negative, because if they're thinking negative, we need to sort of address that and go, how can we turn that messaging? How can we get them more involved? And also as well, the other one, which when I sort of speak to lots of people, is actually we're all very good at sending feedback messages, feedback questionnaires out, but actually, is anything on there? Are there any responsible, ethical, sustainable questions on there? So we sort of say, did you have a good time? Did you the cost, all of that, but actually probably just looping in some feedback forms and questions for them to come back with you would be really helpful. Again, a good starting point. It may not be pretty to start with, but at least we've got somewhere to start and we can grow.
Yeah, there's I don't believe there's with Medallia feedback that we currently sent out by Best Western. I don't believe that they have anything on there about sustainability. I'm not quite sure how the question will be worded, but that's an interesting point. I hadn't kind of considered that one.
Okay, that's something that I can I'll definitely chase up if that's okay.
Well, one other thing I was going to say is about the green hushing. We had we're actually due to get married in a couple of months' time. We had our first wedding inquiry last year where they wanted to have really before kind of visiting, they wanted to know what our sustainability credentials were like, and they booked off the back of the information we gave them at the time. So we can't be doing too badly, but yeah, it's certainly becoming something which is in the forefront of people's minds, and we're certainly seeing it. We're seeing it in RFPs, the questions from the travel agents all the time.
Yeah.
And if it's coming out to kind of to the general public, then it's certainly something we need to be more concerned is not the right word, but we need to pay more attention to, I think.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So sort of linking into ethical now, it's things like, do the business offer work placement and work with local colleges and universities? It's all about local employment. Remember, that's that support of the local community, and then supporting that secondary spend back into your community is really important. Does the business contribute to the staff and customer well-being? Now this is quite a big one. It's about how are you doing, but also as this goes down from an MD all the way down. So well-being throughout the company should be looked at as a whole, and actually what's on offer now for any customers that wish to come away and just have a little bit of a well-being. Can they switch their Wi-Fi off? Do you have quiet rooms? Is there woodland walks? If there's what's that offer that you can look at for individual travelers that might be a little bit different? Again, not in all locations, not in all hotels that this will be able to happen, but what can you do to be able to support that? And we touched on it earlier, John, is staff training. Are staff valued? Are they trained throughout all of them? And do they have clear KPIs, objectives? Again, they're the voice of your business. Now, again, we all know that we are time short. So holding on to staff so you don't have to do that whole advertising and re-employing is really important. So actually, as a business, what can you do? And they don't have to be massive ones. They don't have to be huge, but why should I come and work for you, and how will you look after me, is kind of quite important, isn't it, John?
Absolutely, yeah, and I mean it's not just the time spent with you know, recruiting and the expense, but the, you know, when you've, everyone knows this, when you have team members in place for a long time, the consistency and the level of service in the hotel is going to increase dramatically, just because, you know, you've got those people with the knowledge and the skills, and they know they know the building inside out, and they know the type of guests. If you've got a high staff turnover, maintaining any kind of standards is always going to be very, very difficult.
It's also their knowledge, isn't it? It's also sort of, you know, it's their obscure knowledge that they know about the local area and about the building. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it is something about appreciation of staff, certainly. And then, yes, we do go on to the sustainability bit. So there's the energy. So it's simple things like, are you recording your energy usage, your water usage, gas, if you are using it? You know, are you plotting that? Are you using it? Are you looking against occupancy? Is there anything that can be done within the building or the business to reduce that? What are the policies? Empty rooms? Does everything get turned off? Empty areas? I think you did, John, didn't you? If you closed some of your hotel off went the heating. So it is. It's just about, you know, logging and filling out some information, and once they're all in place, it's then actually you can look at your trends, see if there's peaks, see if you could then approach a different energy supplier. You know, are you on the correct tariff? Now, I know this isn't glamorous, and I know at all, but actually fundamentally, as we know at the moment, it is that homework that once you've started it and you've created your spreadsheet, and or whomever you target to do that, and you start filling that in and plotting it, is actually, you know, you can find if there's an issue or if there's any leaks, what's going on, you know, do you have problems with any of your appliances? So it's really, as I say, it's really quite laborious, but it is one task that could really just flag to you if there are any problems within your energy sourcing and water as a complete whole.
Yeah, we had huge success with our water consumption, reducing our water consumption by over 80%, which, you know, if you put aside the sustainability for a moment on your management accounts,
Yeah.
that's huge. Yeah, 80% reduction in water consumption across the building. But a number of different things we did, and I'm looking now much more closely at electricity consumption, and we're starting to try and log it and try and work out, you know, where we are using it and whether there are any savings we can make. It's too early yet, but it's something we're looking at.
But it's a start, isn't it? It's that whole driving it forward, just to sort of see, you know, what the trends are, what's the norm, and are there any spikes, and what does that look like? It is things like you're looking at your waste management, looking at your recycling, looking at your messaging to all of your guests that are in the rooms. Can you recycle? Can they support you? How you recycle that back out, how your waste is managed by your contractors, and actually it's important to know where's that waste going, how much you're paying for it, is it by weight, is it by bin? There's lots of different ways. So again, ensure that you're getting the correct amount of usage out of your contractors. Again, there'll be laundry suppliers. So look at the likes of laundry. How many collections do you need? You know, is there any way that you could sort of amend that? What's their sustainability policy? Because it's really good at the moment, as a good practice, is to look at your procurement just to see what they're like, because you could be really working really hard, but actually you're hitting your head against a brick wall because your procurement supply chain is quite difficult. So you know, have that talk with them, have that chat with them, hold them to accountability, and just sort of say, okay, what's your sustainability? What do you do with laundry? What do you do with your grey water? You know, how are we? How are you trunking up and down? Are you using electric vehicles? You know, are we on a road that, you know, there's 25 other deliveries along there, so we can just be added to that? So I think there's, you know, there's all of this that can be done as well behind the scenes with the energy as well, and to things like short flushes on your toilets, shower heads, that are fitted, that reduce water. So there's so much stuff that can be done. So again, please don't be frightened with that whole energy. There's so much can be done, and just say, well, we can't, we can't do anything. Yes, you can. Everybody can make a small adjustment, and and it will be sustainable. But also, let's be honest, like John mentioned, bottom line figures here as well, need to be looked at, and every little helps at the moment. So that's kind of like, as I say, a whistle tour through the responsible, ethical, and energy. So, John, have I sort of missed any very obvious ones out that when we went through?
No, I think you've covered it all. I'm just looking at our sort of response now, and yeah, I think there are loads of different things in there, but yeah, broadly you've kind of covered I think all of those.